लोये तव सागुणम् ऐसो पञ्चनमुक्तारो
नमो लोये तव सागुणम् ऐसो पञ्चनमुक्तारो
नमो लोये तव सागुणम् ऐसो पञ्चनमुक्तारो सव पावपणासनो मङ्गलाणं च सर्वेसिं सव पावपणासनो मङ्गलाणं च सर्वेसिं
सव पावपणासनो मङ्गलाणं च सर्वेसिं
सव पावपणासनो मङ्गलाणं च सर्वेसिं मङ्गलाणं च सर्वेसिं परमं भवै मङ्गलम् मङ्गलाणं च सर्वेसिं परमं भवै मङ्गलम्
मङ्गलाणं च
கண்டனிரே எக்கணமும் அதிசிறந்த திராவிடர்கள் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிரிவுடனும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசலை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மனத்தை இருந்ததையும் தமிழங்கே தமிழங்கே உன் சீரமை திறமையன்று செய்தரந்து வாழ்த்துதமே வாழ்த்துதமே வாழ்த்துதமே.
I would request all of you to kindly keep standing for the completion of the prayer, family prayer. Thank you. Now it is time for honoring our chief guest, Master. Master Vikas will present the bouquet to Swami Gautamana. Master V. Srinivasan will Master K. Gopal Krishnan will present the bouquet to Sri Mogathulam Mehta, member of the jury. Sri Vinod Kumar, who is now guardian from Gautamananda. I now request Sri
Audience at Madras, when the first Bhagwan Mahavir Award was presented to Virayaka, an institution engaged in serving the tribals of Bihar. It is my proud privilege to engage in a similar exercise today. I am happy that the Foundation's desire and objective of recognizing and rewarding excellence in various areas of human endeavor is assuming greater stability as days go by. We hope and pray that our aspirations and efforts in this regard will continue to gather momentum and attain greater relevance in the field of social service. Later during my speech, I will have occasion to spell out briefly the scope and extent of the Foundation's activities once again. But before I embark on that area, let me hasten to extend to you all of you a very happy, hearty welcome and convey our heartfelt thanks for your kind presence here this evening. We are particularly grateful to the chairman of the Bhagwan Mahavir Foundation, Sri C. Subramanianji, for being present with us today to give away the 1996 Mahavir Awards. I feel rather awkward in praising Sri Subramanianji here today. If I start doing so, where can I stop? After all, he has been the guiding light, taking us by the hand and leading us step by step over the years since the foundation was set up. To paraphrase an eminent writer, he touched nothing that he did not adorn. There has been hardly a day over the years when we have not been running to him for advice and guidance. It is therefore only fitting that he is here today to hand over the awards to the awardees. His national stature and well-known inclination to associate himself with public causes, notwithstanding his age and indefinite health, has been so pronounced and visible that it is superfluous on my part even to attempt an introduction. Suffice it for me to say that he has been the father figure for the Sudal and Damani group, and we hope and pray that the Almighty would grant him many more active and healthy years to serve his countrymen, and of course a little extra for the foundation. I welcome you, sir. There is a thing of sadness about the occasion. As you are all aware, Sri M.V. Arunachalamji, one of the members of the jury, passed away a few days back. Notwithstanding his illness, he has been associating himself with the activities of the selection jury. The foundation is grateful to him for his assistance, and we will miss him. We convey our heartfelt condolence to the members of the jury family. We are greatly indebted to the distinguished members of the award jury, and we extend a welcome to Sri Justice E.S. Venkatramanyaji. In fact, today happens to be the birthday of his granddaughter. In spite of this, he preferred to come to Madras and participate in this function. This shows his innate desire to encourage all those engaged in the community service. So I welcome you, sir. We welcome Sri Mafatlalji Mehta, the member of the jury. The members of the jury have left such an unquestioned and indelible stamp of objectivity and fairness in the selection process during the last 2 years that the selections have received unanimous approbation from all over the country. We are grateful to all of them for helping us achieve unquestioned credibility in the matter of selecting awardees. We are grateful to all of them. Swami Gautamananji has blessed us and honored us by being present with us today. We feel it eminently appropriate that head of one of the Ramakrishna Mission being present here when another is being honored with the award. This is more so because Swami Gautamananji had himself been partially responsible for the efficient running of the awarding institution from Bastar district during his formative years. Contrary to the usual phenomenon of one's past lapses alone continue to haunt one, here is an occasion when Swamiji's good deeds follow him. We welcome you, sir. Let me now come to the core of the occasion. But for the awarding institution and individuals, this function has no meaning. One of the basic objectives of the foundation in making this award was to encourage more and more people taking up social service, and there would be no better example of such disinterested service to fellow men than those rendered by the two awardees of the 1996 Bhagwan Mahavir Award. Experience has shown that it is not very easy even to serve others. One is generally left with a sense of disillusionment and frustration. But if in spite of all these difficulties, certain institutions strive on with determination, their efforts are all the more creditworthy. The basis in which this year's awards have been made was spelled extensively at the press conference held by the chairman of the foundation immediately after the awardees were decided upon. To recapitulate, the octogenarian couple, Sri S. Jagannathanji and Srimati Krishnammal Jagannathanji, have been selected for the award basically for the propagation of non-violence, not a very popular tool used these days in human relations. The couple, both individually and as a couple, and as a part of a team of Sarvodaya workers, have been a part of the Gandhian movement generally and in the acquisition and distribution of land for the landless artisans and other deprived classes through non-violence means. They have been closely associated with the dawns of the freedom movement such as Vinoba Bhaviji. Their latest fight is against the proliferation of plant farms which changes the very nature of fertile agricultural lands already in the limited supply. If occasionally their efforts border on compulsive persuasion, they are only following Gandhiji, who said he would rather be violent than be a coward. Some of us who had an occasion to visit their place of work have been terribly impressed with their Spartan style of living and personal standards. In these days of constant recourse to selfishness and violence, their continued insistence on non-violent service to fellow men is a glimmer of light amidst gathering darkness. We hope and pray that the recognition being given to them would focus attention on the basic approach to their lives and attract more and more people to their philosophy of life. The foundation offers its humble homage and salutation to the elderly couple. May they live long and continue to be in the vanguard of the movement for selfless, non-violent service to their fellow men. Normally, recipients of such awards set apart the amount for their own future use or for the welfare of their offsprings. But to most of us, it will come as no surprise to learn that even though they are free to utilize the funds in whatever manner they choose, the Jagannathan couple proposed to use the cash component of the award for strengthening the Gram Swaraj movement and similar other community services. This only goes to prove that there are still some of our countrymen left who do not attach great importance to money first, but as the means to a worthy end. We congratulate the couple on their praiseworthy decision. Swami Trilokyananji, who is present here today, represents the other awarding institution, namely the Ramakrishna Mission Ashrama, Narayanapur, Bhakta district, Madhya Pradesh. This is no doubt at all that the foundation is honoring itself more than the Ramakrishna Mission Ashram by giving this award to the ashram. Most of us would recall that when an honor was offered to a senior monk of the Ramakrishna Mission, he politely declined the offer by stating that there can be no greater honor than belonging to the order of the monks of the Ramakrishna Mission. Most of us are aware of the extensive social service in the field of education, medical assistance and community service undertaken effectively and successfully by the Ramakrishna Mission in various parts of the country. This ashrama has been selected for excellence in the community service for its stupendous and successful effort in achieving a total transformation among the tribals of the Abujmar, an inaccessible area in the Bastar district of Madhya Pradesh. Some of us who had been there have wondered how at all such a transformation could have been achieved by any human agency. We salute the dedicated sadhus of Ramakrishna Mission for achieving the near impossible, and we extend the hearty welcome to Swami Trilokyananji for being with us here today. We welcome you, sir. Even a TV program provides a break for an advertisement. I also thought it not inappropriate to take a few minutes for saying something about our foundation. As I had mentioned elsewhere, the founder trustees of the foundation felt that they should do something for recognizing selfless service to fellow men, both to encourage the existing institutions in putting further efforts in this direction and for inducing other timid souls to take up active social service in a big way. With this objective in view, the foundation was registered as a public charitable trust for identifying, nurturing and promoting excellence in human endeavor, especially in the areas of propagation of non-violence, truth and vegetarianism, as also education, medicine and social service. As all of you are aware, the first Mahavir Award for 1995 consisted of a single award whose components were a cash award of Rs 5 lakhs, a statue of Bhagwan Mavi and a scroll. As I had occasion to mention during the last years, to welcome our ambition is to cover areas of community service in greater depth. So from this year onwards, the foundation has increased the number of awards to 2 on the same pattern as the first one. As you have noticed from the earlier parts of my welcome speech, one of the awards is to recognize excellence in the sphere of non-violence, truth and vegetarianism, and second one is for excellence in the sphere of education, medicine, community and social service. We have also a few other irons in the fire. This includes provision of cash awards for students who come out as toppers in public examination. An offshoot of this scheme is also the provision of awards for superior performance to the concerned teachers and institutions that produce these toppers. We are also examining other areas of superior human endeavor. We have instituted a scheme under which any person who is incapacitated while saving his fellow man in distress will be provided rehabilitation assistance. Similar assistance will also be provided to the surviving family members of a good Samaritan who loses his life in responding to such a call. The foundation wants to make it clear that the objective of this scheme is not to provide some temporary relief but to provide a continuous source of income enabling the recipient to lead a respectable life in future. I take this opportunity to request every one of our countrymen to bring to our notice cases of such exemplary bravery. These cases will also be evaluated by an impartial committee with a view to assessing the fitness for such assistance. I think I have taken enough of your time, but I cannot close without mentioning that any success we have had or we hope to have cannot depend upon the efforts of a single individual or even a small group of individuals. Apart from the unstinted support of Sri Subramanian ji, I have had the fortune of continued support and encouragement from my partners. Sri Gopalakrishnan ji continues to shoulder the responsibility for organizational details. I would like to place on record my warmest thanks and gratitude to all of them. The trustees of the foundation realize that all human efforts, if allowed to stagnate, will become meaningless. We welcome ideas and offers of help, financial and otherwise, for expanding the activities of the foundation so that in years to come it will become a landmark for facilitating service to fellow beings. I welcome all of you once again, sir, and thank you for your patient hearing.
And now we would like to request Sri Subramanian, Chairman Bhagwan Mahavir Foundation, to address the gathering.
The Ramakrishna Mission, my colleagues in the jury to select the awardees and friends. It's a very auspicious occasion when we are going to give the award to one organization of the Ramakrishna Mission and the other to Jagannathan and his devoted wife, even though they are mentioned as individuals, they form part of a movement and organization. I would like to congratulate the foundation for having expanded the award program by including one more award of the same magnitude, that is 5 lakhs. I happen to be the chairman of another selection council for the Bajaj Award of India. I'm really happy to find the number of voluntary organizations that are functioning today in our country. I tried to find out, particularly in the midst of this turbulence which we see every day in our country, it is heartening to see that thousands of workers, without even expecting any recognition, they are working for and in the service of the people. who need help. And that is why I compare India to a turbulent sea during a cyclone. The whole thing is in great turbulence. But if you go your few feet deep into the sea, you will find the mighty ocean, creative ocean. The same way, in our country, the turbulence is at the surface level, which is represented perhaps the political field of activities. But that is not the natural India. The natural India is represented by, it's only a matter of time before we really get transformed. This is the message which Swami Vivekananda gave, that India has been a slave nation for hundreds of years, and he said India was awakened. And when it awakens, it would become a big giant. That is what he prophesied. And that is why after him, Mahatma Gandhi came, and through his non-violent movement, you are able to attain freedom. But unfortunately, after attaining freedom during the last 50 years, particularly at the political level, we seem to have been drifting away from the temper of the freedom movement, which was based on sacrifice, service and self-discipline. But this can't last long, and particularly it is a very encouraging sign during the last few signs that the conditions that existed during the last few years cannot continue in the same way. And therefore I always feel that there is always ebb and tide in the affairs of men. And we have been going through an ebb, and I feel we have reached the bottom of the ebb. Now the tide has to come. And these prosecutions and the various actions that have been taken against those who misbehaving when they were in responsible position of power. For instead of serving the country, instead of serving the people, they have tried to serve themselves. And therefore, it is a good sign today that the tide has turned, and those who have been black sheep in the field of politics are being prosecuted today. So the cleansing process has started. And I am sure the expectations of our great sages and saints that India will provide a model for the rest of the country will prove true. What is that model? Swami Vivekananda declared a century ago in the Parliament of Religions, the future of humanity depends upon the synthesis of science and spirituality. And unfortunately, during the last century, or a little more, it is science that has been dominating. The spirituality was not very much in evidence, but that can't be effaced forever. And if that synthesis of science and spirituality has to take place, it can happen only in India. And this is why our great sages said that India not only has to become free, but provide a model for others. So, as a country, we have to make not only in the field of science, but bring back the spiritual temper into our polity. And when I see particularly the younger generation here, I feel optimistic that this is bound to happen. And particularly our voluntary organizations, their services, they have been inspired by our great leaders, And particularly, two great leaders have been responsible for this inspiration. One is Ramakrishna Paramahansa, followed by Swami Vivekananda. So you find the Ramakrishna Mission Organization spread throughout our country, serving the people. Not only they are having their own spiritual practices, but serving the people in need. This is what Swami Vivekananda gave as a message. There is no need, question of renouncing the world and leaving the world. And they are able to their organization which was working in the tribal area. It was a chain organization. Therefore, you will find in these organizations there is always a spiritual background. And then the other award goes to Jagannathan and his devoted wife. Jagannathan has been my colleague in the freedom movement. I have known him for since 1940, more than 50 years I have known him. A devoted Gandhian. And fortunately, he has a wife who functions in consonance with his ideas. He has been fully influenced by Mahatma Gandhi. And even now, when there is so much of social violence and there is so much of economic exploitation, Jagannathan still believes in Gandhian non-violence and tries to remove these evils which are forces which are spreading, to resist them through non-violence. And therefore, in recognition of that, we are giving the award for not only Jagannathan but to his wife also, because they are inseparables and they are doing such good work. Particularly in the Bhutan movement, the work they have done in getting land and having it distributed to the Harijan community and also to the poor section of the society is greatly praiseworthy. So we are happy to give these awards, but when we give these awards, and when we get, as a matter of fact, Bajaj Foundation gives every year 4 awards. One is an international award, 3 other awards are given to work within India. One for women's welfare, another is rural welfare, the other is for social welfare. And therefore, when we give these awards, they have already, it is not as if they were working for the purpose of getting these awards. They were working without any return for themselves, a selfless work they have been undertaking. But what we are doing by these awards is not only honoring them, but in many cases we are supplementing them and earn wealth. But when they earn the wealth, it is according to our dharma, it is not for their benefit alone, their family's benefit alone, it should be available to the society also. And therefore, Tribhuvan Jain, apart from this foundation, etc., every year he has a function after the end of March, soon after that, where he distributes 50% of his earnings to various foundations, various organizations, etc. And it is not a small sum, it always exceeds a crore. And therefore, he is setting an example, and he has been telling me his ambition is not to confine this to 50% of his income as he goes along, go on increasing this percentage. He is a shining example of how a Grihastha should follow this dharma, which has been laid down in our scriptures. So I congratulate him for the effort he is making for providing an example for others to follow. Not only earn for themselves, but when they earn, they should use it for helping others also. And therefore, I am very happy to be associated with this function. I am particularly happy that Gaudamanandaji has been good enough to come us and give this benediction. And more than anything else, it is these sadhus who form the essay as a shining example of how renunciation and service can go together. So I would like to welcome all of you as one of the members of the foundation, and I am sure what we are doing today will inspire many others, particularly inspire the younger generation to take to social service along with other activities. Thank you very much for that.
We would now request Pujya Swami Gautamananda Ji,
Sri Venkatramaya Ji, Sri Mahapatlal Mehta Ji Mehta, Sri Ramani Ji, Sugal Chand Jain Ji, and my very dear brothers and sisters. It has been a great privilege for me to be here in a unique function which I didn't expect to take place here in Madras, because somehow or other I had an idea that all these awards, etc., they are all there in Delhi, but then a big one is here, and it's a privilege to be a part of this function. As Sri Subramanian Ji was just telling you, the great problem before our country today is how to be modern, at the same time keep up our ancient heritage, which has conferred upon not only this country, on the whole world, the real lasting peace and happiness. We have to be modern. We have to take everything that science, technology has to give. Simultaneously, we must hold on to the roots which have nurtured us for the last 10,000 years to be one of the stateless, steadiest and most peaceful nation in the world. So this problem of synthesizing science and spirituality, as Sri Subramanian pointed out, as Swami Vivekananda had pointed out earlier, is the problem before all of us, especially before the young people. I am glad that a lot of young persons are there before me, and they should imbibe this spirit by which they can absorb all that is best in the modern society. At the same time, know our culture, find out what is best in them, hold on to the nuggets of gold there, and throw away the chaff and superstition. This great work is before us. And I am reminded of a small incident in Sri Ramakrishna's life. Perhaps it was about 1882, in one of the conversations with one of his disciples. The disciple asked Sri Ramakrishna, "Sir, can I earn a little more money than what I am doing?" He was a professor at a college, who are firm in the values of life. This is what God wants. Good people are the real devotees of God. Therefore, we all should become devotees of God to be helped by others, because it is the duty of everyone to serve the devotees of God. Means all good people must get all assistance, help, support and encouragement. That is how a good society is conceptualized. We think that is the best society, where good people are supported, encouraged to go forward, and the bad people are punished, about which Mr. Subramanian has referred to, and it's a great process that is going on. And this helping of good people is the great thing that is to be done, and today's function indicates that we are aware of this fact, and this foundation has taken to the great task of supporting good people, encouraging good people. When we say good people, especially certain fundamental values of human life which makes people good. And such good people are good in India, they are good in England, they are good in Europe, they are good everywhere. So there is a fundamental goodness in man which rests on certain basic values. And it is these values what we call, which we today want in our life and in the life of whole humanity. So whenever I go, I tell the young people only these four values, which I consider as the values of goodness in life. If you want to be good, these four values must be good. And the greatness of these four values are, they will help us to be happy, prosperous, live a good life in this world, in this society, in this age. At the same time, it will help us to grow internally into a higher spiritual beings until we realize that we are one with God. That means it helps the good body may come, but we are but soul different from this body and mind. We should be fearless, we should be loving, we should be self-sacrificing. This is the inner growth. Both must take place if we have these values in our life. This was called, in our usual term, dharma. You know, in India, we always think that a man will not be happy until he has got four things in life. In contrast to this one, nowadays in society they think with one thing itself we can be happy. What is that one thing? Dollar, pound, and of course rupees. People think it is not true. With 10,000 years of experience, this society has found artha, only money cannot give you happiness. We want, as soon as a man gets money, he thinks that I must have a good social life, good family, real dharma. So the third dharma also is required in man, because simple a social life, a happy social life, and the list of money will not give the full satisfaction. What we want is full satisfaction, fulfillment, as we say in English. So even these three will not give the absolute fulfillment, because a time comes, even the great philanthropist who has helped hundreds and thousands of people, he feels simply puzzled when he is faced with the last moment of his life. Is this all my goodness? Is this all the good, great name that I got? Thousands of people thought me great, but now what of all this? Where will I go? What will happen to me? That last question about my own inner personality, this Atman, this spiritual dimension of man, this is to be known. I must be sure before I cast off this body that as I have lived in this body, I am going to live elsewhere with greater happiness, greater joy, perhaps unending happiness and unending joy. I must have some inkling of that. That is spiritual life. I must know I am a spiritual being. I am going to be eternally happy, and I am going to exist eternally. I am to exist eternally happy, joyful, full of knowledge, full of power. So this knowledge about ourselves also must come. This is the core, which is called as the moksha. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha, the four fruits of life. Sri Ramakrishna used to sing a song. Come, let us go to the wish-fulfilling tree of Mother Kali. Let us find there the four fruits of life. He used to sing this song. All people would be enthralled. People would say, what are these four fruits? He used to say, if we go to God, if we live a godly life, people will get all the four fruits of life. They will get money, they will get social good, they will get good family life, and they will do good to society. Society will praise them. And at last, they will have realized that they belong to God. God is eternal, we are also eternal. We are His children. It cannot be other way. The young one of a puppy will be like a puppy. Young one of a cat will be a kitten. It will be like their mother. We are children of God. We shall be like God. We will be eternal. We will be full of joy, infinite power, infinite knowledge. This knowledge about ourselves also must come if we live a value-based life. Then comes the real fulfillment. Where was your root of the fearlessness of Mahatma Gandhi, about whom Mr. Subramanian was referring? The man who died with no fear at the last moment, bullets hit him. Hair on, this is. How many great heroes in this country can say that? Here is a hero whom we have not recognized. That is the Sattvic hero-ness. He just faces the bullet, but not with any vengeance, with any anger, with any retaliation, but with the name of God. That's he just, and everyone who knows something about spiritual life, we can certify you, we can certify this incident that Gandhi has gone to the highest. what is going to happen to us. I can also be as brave and as spiritual as Gandhi was. And this is what we should become, for which these four values Swami Vivekananda gave us. You read the complete works of Swami Vivekananda, 8 volumes. He goes on asking on these four values, which our young people must know. These four values if you have, you will be called a good person. And that goodness is what we want. This absolute goodness. And I tell you, without making you wait for these four values, the simplest terms are, one is truthfulness. Number 2 is purity, pure thoughts and pure emotions inside. Third is faith in God and prayer to Him. Fourth, selfless service. Anybody who has been great and good, you find these are the 4 qualities that are made him great and good. Take the example of Gandhi. Why do we call him great? The man was truthful. The man was pure. The man had such tremendous faith in God and faith in prayer. And 4, selflessness was embodied. A man did not have a paisa in his pocket to call his own. This was the man whom we called as Mahatma. He was not any single man called. The whole nation called him as Mahatma, not without any reason. Because intrinsically we know what is goodness. These are the 4 values Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. More than them, people who appreciate the ideas, invite those ideas and give us ideas. So it is the duty of we elders, wherever we are, in whatever field we are, to propagate these teachings of Gandhi, teachings of Swami Vivekananda. They are not contradictory. Some people, they think that Gandhi and Vivekananda are contradictory. It never. Gandhi came to our Virumad in 1921 during Calcutta Congress sessions. He visited our ashrama and after going through, he went into Swami Vivekananda's room where he had passed away about 15-16 years back, and after being there for some time, he came out and then people wanted to hear something from him. Gandhi said, I have not come here to give any lecture. I only would request you, you have come to this famous place where Swami Vivekananda lived and died. Take his ideas. I have gone through his ideas. It has made me 1,000 times more patriotic than what I was. So there is no contradiction. So when we see that the tragedy that has happened in this country, there is a great tradition that was coming down. The great rishis of the old, they gave us this message of dharma, this dharma of truthfulness, of prayer, of purity, and of selfless service. This is the essence of dharma. This dharma was given, it was coming down in an unbroken line, right down to Swami Vivekananda, and it was a part of the dharma, how it should be applied to our political philosophy, our political field, that Gandhiji demonstrated. I am not telling this one, that Gandhiji demonstrated this dharma in his life. One of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, who is acclaimed as a Brahmajnani, Swami Turiyananda, he heard Mahatma Gandhi speaking in Banaras. This Swami was ailing at that time, he was in our hospital in Banaras. This spirituality, which has proved its worth for the last 10,000 years, and it is in our very blood. It does not rest in only one varna, only Brahmins have spirituality. Vivekananda did not believe, one of the greatest saints of the modern age, he did not believe that spirituality is resting only in Brahmins or Kshatriyas or Sudras or Vaishyas, and it is not in the women or it is not in the untouchables or Harijans or anybody. Swamiji proclaimed that this spirituality is the hallmark of every Indian. All of us are children of these rishis. This idea must come to us. We talk of Vivekananda, we talk of Gandhi. At the same time, we talk of this class, that creed, this backwardness, that forwardness. If backwardness and forwardness are there, it is for us to remove them. Not going on calling somebody as a backward man for all centuries to come. That is where our young people must read, understand the fundamentals of the spiritual life and goodness, and imbibe these qualities. So only on this great day, instead of going into details, I know our time is limited, I would only say, all, especially the young people, read Gandhiji's life, read Vivekananda, and read something about the great people who are doing great things as well. Mr. Subramaniam, as Sugangaji are the referred. Hundreds and hundreds of voluntary organizations are working. Hundreds of young people are sacrificing their life. For what? They make a fulfillment in their own life. In Swami Vivekananda, in one place he said, when you work selflessly for others, if Brahman in you will get away, you will become spiritual really. You will feel you are a child of God. You will feel you have infinite power in you. How? Somehow that is the technique, that is the path. If you become selfless and work for others, then the Brahman, the divinity that is inside us, will awaken. So all our young people are aspiring for great things. Nowadays globalization is in the air. Everybody wants to be one belonging to the globe. But you will be belonging to the globe in the real sense when you become spiritual. When you know that we are the children of God and the whole humanity are children of God. And with this idea, we must also have all the modern things with us. We cannot just close and meditate and only that think that we are the children of God. If I am the child of God, if all are children of God, all are my brothers. Why is this brother suffering? I must rush to his help. To rush to his help, I must have enough means to help. It simply is not possible to help others without having some money, without having some knowledge and technology which you to give. Acquire as much as we can. We want wealth, we want knowledge, we want technology, both secular, we want knowledge, spirituality also, and distribute it freely to everyone. Let all these barriers between men and men go, and let people realize that we are the children of God. So Sri Ramakrishna was a famous statement when some people went and asked, Sir, how can we break down these barriers of caste in this unfortunate country? Sri Ramakrishna, a man living always in Samadhi, he said, the only way is to develop bhakti, love of God. Let people love God and all the barriers of caste will go. That is how Chaitanya united the whole of our country. Buddha united the whole country. And again the new movement is coming, about which Sri Subramaniam hinted. New age is coming. The age of Ramakrishna, age of Vivekananda, age of harmony. When we are going to think that we are all children of God, there is no barrier between us, either of caste or creed or color or position or power. We must become one. But in becoming one, we must get awakened to our real spiritual heritage, which we can do by cultivating truth in ourselves, by becoming pure in our outlook, in our thoughts and deeds, and by praying to God, having tremendous faith. God is there. A good man must get his fruits. He need not go and beg. Do a good work and sleep, and good results must come to you. Have faith in this one. This tremendous faith in God. And going out to serve others without expecting immediately that I must get the result. A man who will get the result, only he will not ask for it. People get everything, but without asking. There are so many fortunate people, and we want to become fortunate like that. Let us work selflessly. We will get 10 times more than what we would get by working selfishly. These great truths, let us practice, let us become good, let all our young people grow up as great people in every walk of their life, added to that particular qualification of the scientists or doctors or engineers or administrators. Let there be a qualification is a good engineer. Let goodness come into them. Goodness meaning these great four values of life. I don't have much to say today. I am very happy that I was invited here, and I would love to see people like you who are interested in such ideology and who come and help such institutions. Thank you.
Now we come to the main item of today's function, the presentation of Bhagavan Mahavira. Now we come to the main item of today's function, the presentation of Bhagavan Mahavira Lakshman.
Yes. Sir, please come.
Yes, Kuro.
Excuse me. Yeah.
And the statuette of Bhagavan Mahavir.
Just they want
Once more, please. Please only. Yes. Sir, కొంచెం తిరిగి. Sir, కొంచెం తిరిగి. Sir, కొంచెం తిరిగి. Thank you. Sure. Sir, sound. Sir, கொஞ்சம் கீழே இருங்க சார். சார் கொஞ்சம் கீழே இருங்க. ஓகே. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sure. Okay.
थोड़ा हाथ पकड़ लेंगे.
Secretary Ramakrishna Mission Ashram will kindly come up and receive the award. Check for rupees 5 lakh.
Okay.
Escrow and the statuette
Thank you.
of Bhagavan Mahavir.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. Yes. Please come. Please come. Thank you.
Sri Mahatma K. Mehta. Srimati Nirmala will now present the memento. Sri Keval Chandji will present the memento to Swami Gautamananda. I request Sri Prasad Ji.
Ji, respected Sri Sugachan Ji, respected Sri Damani Ji, Revered Swami Vivekananda Ji, Sri and Srimati Jagannathan, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed happy that I have been assigned the pleasant task of offering a vote of thanks on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Bhagavan Mahavir Foundation, and on my own behalf, I express my sincere thanks to the elder statesman, Sri Subramanian Ji, friend and well-wisher of Suganandamani family, who despite his various other engagements found time to preside over this function and presented the Mahavir Awards for excellence in human endeavor to Sri S. Jagannathan and Srimati Krishnamal Jagannathan and Sri Ramakrishna Mission Ashrama Narayan. I am grateful to Sri Gautamananda Swami Gautamananda Ji, who was kind enough to accept our invitation to be the chief guest and for having pronounced his benediction. I express my sincere thanks and congratulations to Sri S. Jagannathan and Srimati Krishnamal Jagannathan and Swami Vivekananda Ji, Secretary of Ramakrishna Ashrama, recipients of the Mahavir Award for 1996 for their participation. I extend my sincere thanks to the members of the selection jury for all the guidance and the valuable time they have spent for the selection committee meetings of the foundation. My special thanks are due to Sri Venkataramayan Ji, Sri Mafatlal Ji for having taken the trouble to come all the way from Bangalore and Bombay to participate in this function. I am especially grateful to the members of the press in our endeavors. I also extend my sincere thanks to the principal, the staff, and the students of Sri Radha and Natmal CV Jain Vidyalaya Matriculation Higher Secondary School for their assistance in organizing this function. I am equally thankful to the executives and staff of Sugalan Damani Group of Companies, but for whose cooperation and active help this function would not have been a success. I am grateful to the management of Kalaivanatha Ragam for their cooperation in making the hall available to us and for the fine arrangements made by them. I thank you one and all. Thank you.
I request all the guests to kindly stand up for the national anthem which we play.
And also